TRT World's Turkey analyst Yusuf Erim is in the studio with me now. Yusuf, the president has made these comments in an op-ed written for one of the Western world's most important newspapers, the Wall Street Journal. It seems as if in that article he understands that alone, militarily certainly, he can't confront the Russians and the Syrians together in Idlib province.
Well, it's definitely a big task to confront such a big coalition like Russia, Iran, and the Assad regime. Now, we have to look at why this article was written and the messages behind the article. We can see that President Erdogan's very, very unhappy with the outcome of the Tehran summit. We look at President Erdogan and we look at how willing he was to reach a deal with Russia and Iran. He's addressed Russian and Iranian and Assad regime concerns about the terror groups in the region. He's taken steps to designate HTS as a terror organization. This is a group that has caused a lot of concern to Assad and Putin as well. He's also, during the negotiation part of the summit, he also empathized with Putin's concerns about Aleppo, where he said that they can transfer control of Aleppo to more moderate groups as well. But when we look at what Russia and Iran have done the day after the summit, bombing southern Idlib, not even answering Erdogan's most basic ceasefire call, we see that Russian-Iranian regime intentions are just very far and away from what President Erdogan's expecting. These are not the hallmarks or actions of leaders who want peace. So this is very, very important. Now, when we look at the message that President Erdogan's trying to relay through the article, one of the most important parts I wanted to touch on is the purpose of the Idlib offensive. He's saying that the offensive against Idlib would be an indiscriminate attack to wipe out the opposition and not a genuine or effective campaign against terrorism. Now, this is very, very important because there's 3 million civilians in Idlib. And what's going to happen to these people? He talks about only a fraction of Idlib being considered terrorists. And when we look at the numbers, we're talking about a maximum 50 to 60,000 terrorists. That makes 1 or 2% of the population. Why is the other 98% going to suffer? Also, another very, very important point that President Erdogan touched on. The rise of ISIS was an outcome, not the cause of what was happening in Syria. I think this is very important because destabilizing this region, destabilizing Idlib, is only going to leave this population hopeless and helpless. And that's going to play right into the hands of these extremist groups recruiting for the future. And the final message that I thought was very, very important as well is President Erdogan's call to the international community, where he says a more comprehensive international counterterrorism operation is necessary. He understands he can't do this alone anymore. He needs help.
Yes, exactly. So that's the point. But he is the only world leader who regularly meets those two main backers of the Assad regime, Vladimir Putin and Hassan Rouhani of Russia and Iran. And then here in the piece, he talks, as you say, about the international community's collective responsibility. Is he even trying to bring the Americans on board to help with what's potentially unraveling into this huge catastrophe in Idlib?
The Americans have been very distant from Idlib up till very, very recently. They've been more concentrating on northeastern Syria, east of the Euphrates. But we've seen American rhetoric change over the last couple of days. There's been a lot of warnings issued by top-level White House staff and President Trump saying that if chemical weapons are used, it's going to be a very loud response this time. So in what capacity President Erdogan would want to see the Americans involved in Idlib? Well, I don't think he would want to see American troops on the ground in Idlib. Now, that would not help at all. It would actually complicate things further and could have a further destabilizing impact, as the Iranians would feel very, very threatened by U.S. presence there. The Assad regime would feel threatened, and it would be a very big irritant to the Russians. But U.S. political support would be very important for Erdogan in pressuring Putin and Rouhani for a deal which recognizes humanitarian concerns.
OK, Yusuf, we'll leave it there for the moment. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.